We have an image open, and what we want to do is change it. Width, height, resolution, things like that. There are a lot of ways that we can accomplish that. What we want to do is concentrate on something called image size dialog box. That's what we're going to look at. The first thing that we can do here, though, is we can check it out ourselves before going there. Press Control R, that's Command R on a Macintosh, and you can open up your rulers. The rulers give me the ability to measure this image visibly. I can see it's about 3¼ inches by about 2¼ inches. You say, well, Andy, I don't use inches, and I don't that much either, to be honest with you. If you want to change it, now that you have the image open, right-click your mouse right there. You can change to any measuring system that you want. For example, most of the rest of the world is metric. United States kind of stays where they are. And so inches is very common in the United States. But if you want centimeters, you can actually change it right here. Let me recommend one to you that I find very valuable and crosses kind of like country lines, and that would be Pica. Pica is the universal measuring system, especially a 4-color press. I find it much cleaner than inches ever could be. If you want to experiment with Pica, go ahead and play with it. Now I'm going to leave that at inches for now, but you can change it. Understand that if you change it by right-clicking up here, you're only doing it to this one graphic. If you go up to Preferences, you can change it for the entire application every time you open up a document. Up to you. With that done, let's go up to the word Image, and let's get into Image Size. The Image Size dialog box is no stranger to people who use Photoshop. Let's go through what we have going on up here. For example, it's telling me in pixel dimensions the size of the file, 5.49 megabytes right now. This area right here is concentrating more on monitor, stuff like that, web stuff, because it's measuring in pixels. This image has 1600 pixels by 1200. We can change that to percentage. For what reason? Well, maybe you want to reduce the image down by 42% and you don't want to do the math. You can do that here. We'll leave that back at pixels. This means that they're in proportion, which is a wise thing to do. If I change this one, this would change automatically, and that's, of course, because I have constrain proportions on right here. Document size down here, these three relate to output to paper. So we're measuring, again, in inches. Of course, you can change that to anything that you want. The width and the height are measured here. They are constrained, again, because of the option constrained proportions. Again, good thing. Here's that big number, 375. That's the resolution of this image. If that's the optical resolution of this image, you'd have no problem using this in anything. It would go to any 4-color press. It would go to any inkjet printer, any laser printer, look fine, or you could reduce it down, put it on the web. If you've got 375, it's a good number. Down here we have scale styles. If I decide to change the width and height of this image, I can then choose to turn this on so things like drop shadows and that will scale along with the reduced or increased size. Of course, we just looked at this one, constraint proportions. Resample image, I'm going to hold off until the next segment. In my opinion, that is the most important option to comprehend and understand in this entire dialog box. We have one more option over here I want to show you, though. It's called Auto. Andy, I'm running out on a 4-color press, so I called them and they told me their line screen was 133. What's the best resolution to give them the image at that would produce the best results on that press at a line screen of 133? Click Auto. Type in the number. It does default to 133. That's a very common line screen on Heidelberg presses. You can change that to inches or centimeters, depending. I want a draft or good. I want the best. I want this image to look good. Watch that number change when I click OK. 266. Most press operators will tell you that the optimum resolution to give them based on their line screen is 1.5 to 2 times that number. We just doubled it, 133, 266. It's an auto calculator if you need to use it. The last thing, if you've made changes and you like what you've done, of course you click OK and the changes are there. It's actually telling us the original item was 5.49, and by changing the resolution to 266, we have an image now that's only 2.76 meg. We've reduced its size. You say, well, I wish I could start all over again. This is what we usually do. You click Cancel and you reopen it. Don't bother. Reach over on your keyboard and hold on the Alt key. That's the Option key on a Mac, and this will work in almost every dialog box in Photoshop. If you hold on the Alt key while clicking the Cancel button, which is changed to Reset, it will reset everything back to the values that they were when you first opened the dialog box. Remember that one. It can save you that cancel and reopen trick. Image size. Very important dialog box. We all know about it. In the next segment, we're going to talk about this down here. Resample the image.